What's up, our Dove Nation? I just checked my window, make sure I close the window because outside in the neighborhood here in beautiful Palo Alto, I can hear them and they can hear me. I'm hoping we get more people on. How many people? Refresh the screen. I'm pretty happy right now because I was doing a Steph Curry transcription, and it was from the golf tournament. It was the last question he was asked on the podium at Lake Tahoe, and it was a great answer. It was just very enlightening. So that was cool. It was right in line with some positivity I've been feeling lately. It's been hard. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's hard to think positive thoughts, but that's exactly what Steph did on that 18th hole, and he describes it perfectly. Maybe we'll put it up as some inspiration for you guys. Brazy. And waiting for Charlie to get back to us, waiting for Dean, who is actually, he's already logged in. We just need him to, he's got to do something real quick, but he'll be back. But let's throw it up in the comments. Let's do a little poll. Again, this live is mainly to talk about Draymond and just kind of get that over with, because that happened last week. And then Steph Curry's Underrated came out, so I want to give you my movie review, and maybe Dean has one. But let's throw up a poll right away and say, have you seen Underrated doc yet? Simple question. Ask your community. Let's see about that. And just kind of kill some time until we get Charlie. Hold on, I just got a DM from him. Lives always start out a little slow. And we have how many concurrents? Oh, 34. Hey, that's not bad. Like, that's what we normally get. Is Dean there? No, I don't see Dean there, although he's got the oh, and just ask any questions that you want in the comments right now. So agenda for today. But I started out about Steph Curry's last question on podium in Tahoe, on how he approached the 18th winning hole with positivity. And he called it mental warfare. And mental warfare, to kind of overcome negative thoughts. So just a friendly reminder that your brain's always going to transmit negative thoughts. Unfortunately, there's an app that's been renamed to X. I saw something funny on that app today. Let's put on the background screen. So I'm going to keep notes in the description. The only problem is the timestamps don't work until the live is over. So then that's when I copy all those timestamps and notes into the comments, and it's easier that way. But you can always refresh the description. Like even right now, you'll see my note from the top of this broadcast on Steph Curry. But Charlie will be on here soon, and I wanted to tell Dean that when Charlie comes aboard, that'd be a good time for me and him to, like, I will take Dean off the screen and put Dpoymond Charlie on, so that it's the two of us, because with three of us, it really messes up it's not the best look when you have three. And I'd rather just have two, and then I'm going to want to tweet out or put on Instagram our link, and that's when Dean can come on and ask some follow-up questions of Charlie. Anyways, that's what I'm doing with that. So share screen. Let's go back to the old reliable. Somewhere's on here. Ooh, I had to restart my computer. So I don't know where Safari's at. Okay. So we always have a background screen right here with Safari. And I don't even know what it's on. Oh, cool. Our community page. Let's see if I can find that. Sorry about this. Pretty rocky start to this live stream, but I promise you it'll get better, especially once we get Charlie up on here. All right, so this is right now our community page. It hasn't been refreshed since the last time we were here. What's been going on? Jonathan Kuminga. So a bunch of different news we could go through. Obviously, Kuminga's going to be with Basketball Without Borders in South Africa Friday through Monday. Cool. And that is officially the 6-minute mark on Kuminga in South Africa with BWB. Up until that point, what was I talking about? Agenda for today. And FYI, 6:45 mark, Lester, next live stream, Lester Quinones is going to play for the DR. Team DR versus University of Memphis, headed by Penny Hardaway. All right. That will be on Wednesday, August 2nd. So that's our target next live stream, which is why we're here right now, to kind of split the time. I also want to do more weekly news updates, weekly Warriors news updates, because even though there's no games, there's just tons of stuff. For example, Klay went to Greece, then met up with Moses Moody in Little Rock. I have a little tiny tidbit that was misreported on that. We know Steph, always something going on with Steph. Cory Joseph, I was in the Zoom call yesterday. I asked him about Wiggins, and boom, Dalton Johnson used the quotes for my question in an article on NBC Sports Bay Area. So it was good to finally get back on a Zoom, so we could talk about that too. So start giving me topics. So give me some topics for today in these comments, even though I have quite a few of them. Okay. Yeah, Zach, I will get to the underrated documentary shortly. I'm just kind of like figuring out what to do. I'm CP3 bringing up the ball and trying to just see what it's all about today. What do we got here? Oh, yeah. I gotta pat ourselves on the back. If you go to our website, we have a photo gallery. Oh yeah, this is so good. I mean, just go see for yourself, my friends. Like, top-notch photography from our photographer, Bianca. Shout out, Bianca. Just, man. Great photos, man. Just, so good. So I wanted to just plug that real quick at the 9:30 mark of this live stream. 9 minutes, 30 seconds so far. I don't know what happened to Dean. I don't see him. He's just running around in his apartment or something, but he's logged in. So plugging our photo gallery on our website. Let me just copy the link from here. Boom. Boom. Don't forget, you know what I love was this is in reverse chronological order. Look at Canon Curry, man. So inspirational. Golly, he's so cute. Oh, everybody all at once. Oh, man, that's capturing joy right there, right? Don't forget Canon. And then perfect segue into underrated. Canon kind of stole the show and underrated. Dean Chambers.
What's up, Rich?
All right.
Man.
Cool. So I'm just going through, let's see, some of the comments. How you been?
I've been good. Got a new apartment and a new kitten. So had a lot,
there you go.
lot of work.
Hooray for new apartments, huh?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Me and you. Right. So the next Charlie's gonna get a new apartment pretty soon. It is written.
The one that he wanted too, hopefully. Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Oh, 26 votes, 50% exactly have seen underrated. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Well, what's on your mind, Dean, as I go through the comments, and we'll sync up, but you know, I just spent 10 minutes talking about different things. Yeah. You know, I don't know if you were listening or not. You know, I talked about
yeah.
Oh, good. Then you know what I was talking about. Here's your opportunity to spend 10 minutes to talk about whatever you want.
Yeah, absolutely. The very first thing is obviously Warriors fans have a complex relationship with LeBron James, but man, that news about his son is just terrible. You know.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, absolutely. You never want to see that happen to anybody, especially so young. You know, not that him being older would have made it better, but it just he's 18, 19, and yeah, my heart just really goes out to them and to any family that's ever had to deal with something like that. You know, it's just very sad that happened, but it is good news that it seems like he's okay. You know, or as okay as he can be. Out of the ICU, out of intensive care. So just wanted to bring that up. I just watched the underrated documentary about Rich's pull here yesterday or 2 days ago. It was at night, so can't quite remember which day it was, but Steph put out a Twitter thing, I believe, or X, whatever. God, yeah, whatever.
Sorry, did that wrong. Where are you? There you go. Oh man, you can't do the thing where we're both. Let's do this.
Okay.
No, this. There we go.
Yeah. So anyway, he put out a tweet where you can get the Apple Plus free trial for 2 months rather than 7 days. But since I'm not on Twitter, I wasn't able to get that. So I signed up for the 7-day trial and watched it that night. And yeah, it was great learning.
Hit me up. I would have gave you the link.
I should have done that.
The link on Twitter.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, once your 7-day free trial ends, end that, and then with the different, I don't know, a different email maybe.
Wait, do you already have Apple TV?
I had it. I ended the subscription after 3 months, and I used that 3 months to catch up on Ted Lasso.
Yeah, I'm not sure that you can do it if you've had a subscription before.
Well, I did. I had a subscription before, ended it, then used Steph's link, and it worked.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So you might be able to do it.
Yeah, nice.
But if you don't, then I think you can just use a different email, but I don't know.
Right. Oh, yeah, okay. But either way, if anybody wants to watch it, there is that 2-month free trial out there with that Twitter link. So please, please check out Steph's doc. It's free, basically. You know, and it's really cool. It's really an insight more into his college years than anything else. You know, and everything that was going on with Davidson, and then it's kind of related to different things that happened during the 22 season, which thankfully ended with the championship. With that being said, knowing so much about the Warriors and about Steph's career and stuff, or knowing quite a bit about it, I couldn't wait for the that was like the fly with me, and I can't wait for the Last Dance style where they go into every season. They don't even mention 2016 or really any of the other years other than his college years and in 2022. They barely dive into any of it. So I got excited to kind of relive everything the Warriors have done, throughout the run, and this just kind of whetted my appetite for that. I'm glad that it's not here yet because Steph is going to have to be retired for that to come about. But I think it was very well done, and it really just kind of captured everything that Steph has always been about, including that 22 game winning streak that they had in the year they went to the Elite Eight. So I can't remember if that was 2008 or 9, but yeah, it just shows you what a winner he is, going to a program that had never won an that hadn't won an NCAA tournament game since 1969. And he shows up there and they go to the Elite Eight, and have a chance to maybe win that game, go to the Final Four. And basically did the exact same thing here with the Warriors. We went to an organization that had great fans and great history, but when he got drafted, they had made the playoffs once in my life. One time. Made the playoffs. Now they won a round, as we believe, but once, and I was going into high school when he got drafted into the NBA. So, or it was a year before I went to high school or something like that. That was great. And there was one moment that really, really made me feel pretty good. They're sitting down watching a college game in 2022 when Steph's on the Warriors and everything. And it only shows for a second who's on the team, or sorry, which teams are playing against one another. But I just happened to notice that it was Davidson versus Michigan State. Steph's phone rang, and before he answered, I went, "Oh, that's Draymond. It's got to be Draymond." And obviously, it was talking trash, good luck next year, champ, and stuff. And but I knew as soon as I heard the phone ring, it's not his coach or anybody, that's Draymond Green calling him up to talk a little trash about Michigan State winning against Davidson. Other than that, man, Steph's a champ again. With the whole one day and a day or two later, the clutch putt for an eagle in the championship. So great to see Steph win it again. Seems like Dpoymond Charlie's here.
All right, Charlie.
So, I'll see you guys.
Let's see. My favorite part, what Nicole's saying, my favorite part was when they showed the 2022 run while playing all the media trash.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, what do you guys all think about underrated? We can come back to underrated. Looks like 56% of people have seen underrated. if you're a diehard like most of us on this channel, it doesn't really present all that much new content for us, heavy consumers of content. So I mean, the for us, the really cool parts were like Draymond FaceTiming stuff, because we hadn't seen that before. We hadn't seen Canon in the background popping those shipping bubbles while Steph was trying to write his thesis. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
So those little spots were cool.
And his daughter Ryan is doing homework dutifully. Again, is just going crazy. It's so funny.
Yep.
I did like the college coach and teammate interviews, though. I hadn't seen that side of his career as much as Warriors.
Yeah, but I think it was one of those things where they had to just kind of, plant the flag on the moon. Just kind of like, okay, this story hasn't been officially told yet, so here it is. And this is the official, because I made it. I hired, Ryan Coogler to make it. And so everything was actually pretty good. So it's hard for me to really be a movie critic and give it a ranking and all that. So that's my 2 cents. Let's get Charlie in here. We are at the almost 22-minute mark. Perfect. Okay. See how this goes. The three. We can do that.
Fellas.
What's up, Charlie?
What's up, Charlie?
Hang on a second. Let's do this real quick.
Yeah, I don't know how to get the backdrop on there.
All right. So you're calling in from where?
Perth, Australia.
Oh, get out! I just had a family reunion, and believe it or not, my uncle and his wife, they live in Perth.
Oh, really?
Nuts. We had, I think there's another side of the family, or another cousin of mine in Perth, but she wasn't at the family reunion, so I'm not sure. But yeah, I've heard the weather might not be the best right now.
No, that's why I'm hooded up. It's so cold. It's ridiculous.
Oh, that's right.
So cold. Yeah.
They were just talking about it. We have WhatsApp for family stuff.
Yeah.
50 degrees, rainy or something.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. But in about a month we get summer, so we get the sun back. Don't worry.
Cool, man. Oops. Aloha. I'll get back to you. Aloha's on Twitch. I could put you in touch with those people. Cool. So let's hop right into it, Charlie.
I remember we tried to do this a year ago and didn't work too well. So hopefully no technical difficulties this time. Hopefully.
Oh, it was great because I did realize that you had been on our live before. I think of this.
It was only for like 20 minutes, but I tried. Yeah.
So I wanted to go into let me just show you my background real quick. My background screen, which is Draymond and Pat Bev, right?
Yeah. Great.
So here's I'm sure you saw what happened over on the other app.
Yeah.
First of all, and this may be yet another example of how that app is just crazy. I was trying to look you up, and it says playoff Draymond, which the moniker, got suspended. What the heck was that?
I was speaking too much truth, I think. They couldn't handle it. They got rid of me.
Exactly. I think that's what happens is they try to cancel you. So then they say that this post violates copyright and that one does this or that. And then they and it's some BS.
I've got some people working on it to get me back, try to unsuspend me, but it's hard because they don't really give you a good answer from why you're suspended anyway. So we're trying to fight really nothing. I've got a second account up right now, but I don't really take it too serious anymore. It's just fun at this point. I just scroll, see what the news is, and then hop off. It's not too. I didn't take it as serious as I used to. Put it that way.
Yeah, same here. I just go there to get the news.
Yeah.
See some outrageous stuff. I see people that you and I have talked about offline that just some people with actual media credentials, which is just blows my mind. sometimes I wonder, like, do the Warriors even check Twitter? Because like there's some people
Nah.
in Prudential that just they hate your team. It's just
Literally,
like that.
there's people that run Warrior shows in the Bay that jump on any excuse to bash a player they can. And as soon as they start doing well, they're back on their side again. It's ridiculous. I hate that stuff.
Yeah, it is. Oh, Nicole says threads. Have you done threads yet? I haven't done anything yet.
Nah, I haven't.
Like, I don't know.
It just looks like Twitter to me. I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want two Twitters. I don't even want one, to be honest with you. One's bad enough.
Yeah. Or TwiX. Yeah. That's the new name that's going around.
Yeah.
TwiX. Yeah. You would think, though, maybe Instagram has more positive people. You are like, you put out a lot of stuff on Instagram, and you are always showing up on my feed with great little clips here and there, which we're going to get into in a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, what do you think threads will be better? Because what's your experience of Instagram overall?
Instagram, I mean, I've been suspended. I lost my 2 accounts on there, so it hasn't been
great.
Accounts?
What?
Yeah, one had like 120,000 followers, and that was gone. But Instagram's good because it kind of just gives you like what you want. Like, there's no like dance around. Like, you can just post what you want now. The copyright system's a lot better now with music and stuff. So when I want to like create, a mix or put like highlights together with music, they don't want to copyright me anymore for that, which is good. So they've really opened up to pages to like creativity sort of thing. So you can kind of like, make all the content you want now. It's a lot better than it used to be.
Good. All right. So last week, it's ironic because the Pat Bev podcast, they did a podcast. It was over an hour long, and everybody should go watch it. Matter of fact, I'll put the link somewhere in the comments when I have a moment. One of the best podcasts I've ever heard, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Usually that's the case when Draymond's on, right? Just the level of basketball knowledge is just through the roof. Like, you can't really get that anywhere else. However, I do want to recap what happened on that app last week.
Yeah.
Was that it was Pat Bev's pod, and they got to market the pod. They need you to go watch the podcast. So then they clip what they feel like would be the most viral clip, 24-second clip, and it's about Draymond talking about he would he would need to have a reason to punch somebody, and then it kind of it painted him in a bad light because it was just this real quick snippet. And so that went viral, and then everybody got mad at Draymond from this 24-minute clip, and it just went on and on and on about how, there's Draymond's talking about Jordan Poole, and Jordan Poole's not talking about Draymond. What's up with that? And they didn't watch the pod.
Yeah.
And when you watch the podcast, it's like an hour and 15 minutes, and that part comes on. It's just like, you don't even notice, because like the context of the podcast is these 2 elite high IQ basketball players talking about basketball.
Yeah.
The whole thing about why is Draymond talking about this again? I mean, it's like, well, so there's a co-host. His name's Roan.
Yeah.
And he's actually pretty famous. And they got him on to co-host this because you need a co-host, right? You need somebody to be the
say the things Pat Bev doesn't want to say. That's pretty much what it is. He wants to set up the questions that the Twitter people want to know.
He has to ask that question.
Yeah.
And what is Draymond gonna do? Like, is he gonna be? This is totally different than Jordan Poole in Vegas in a back room or in a press introductory conference from the Wizards with a bunch of beat writers. You got a bunch of beat writers there. Like, you don't have to answer their question if you don't want. Like, what do you think about Draymond? He's just going to do his eye roll thing, right? Which was great. Yeah. I thought that was great. Like, next question.
Yeah.
But, like, Draymond is with his buddy, Pat Bev, and Pat Bev's co-host just asked you about this thing. I'm I'm going to answer it. This is my boy.
Yeah.
Number one. And then this is the last thing I want to say is that it was great how Pat, because Draymond was kind of like, he didn't even really want to talk about it. So Pat was like, Draymond.
Yeah.
Let me tell everybody what's up right here. And basically what he said was, and obviously I'm paraphrasing, some people in the league who are leaders don't necessarily score the most points and have the best dunks and things like that, a la LeBron, let's say.
Yeah.
Would a young player come into a team that's led by LeBron with, clearly he's the best player and the outspoken leader and everything, they wouldn't do some of the things. They dial it back a little bit. But Pat is saying when you get a leader like Draymond and myself, meaning Pat, they're kind of different leaders because they don't really have the stats and all the highlights and everything. So a young guy, especially in this generation of basketball, they'll come in and it's not the same as if.
Yeah.
So that kind of dynamic. And now when I heard Pat Bev say that, I go, there you go, man. That makes a lot of sense. All right. So I'm done talking about that. Go ahead, Charlie. Let us know whatever you want to know, or let's talk.
I mean, it didn't surprise me that was going to be asked. I mean, anytime Draymond's on a podcast now, it's bound to happen. Like, everyone wants to know. I mean, he's never going to say it at this point. He probably will later, a couple of years from now when he's done. But I just don't think people actually watch the full hour of podcast. I think they just saw the clip and then that was it. Like, they ran with it. They think that's all they talked about. People think like he just brought that up himself. Like, he just talked about it freely. Like, no, he was set up. Like, in a way, he was set up to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And Dre, he's not gonna say, "No, I don't want to answer that." I don't think I've ever seen him say, "Nah, no comment." He's comment about everything. Like, anything you give it to him, he'll talk about it. And they know that, getting him on the pod, like, they know he's gonna answer it. I mean, yeah, they know that. But yeah, I don't have too much to say. Like, what happened. Obviously, I've heard things what's happened. I don't know if they're true or not. I haven't spoke to him about it. I don't think I'd need to. It's not my business. But obviously, it's a shame what happened. Like, obviously, no one wants to see that. Obviously, the video getting leaked and everything is terrible. But it's going to be on with a year now, and I mean, people are still going to talk about it. It's going to be, when's that? Almost a year from now, in a couple months, and people are going to still be bringing it up all season next year too, until someone gets a full story. And when that full story drops, people are still going to say it's fake. People are going to say, no, you're not telling the truth, so you can't really win. But speaking on the pod though, I think it was amazing. Like, them two now in the podcast space, like, incredible. Like, people that are just misunderstood having their own space to speak, and like, people are like, oh, actually, this guy's not too bad, or this guy, he knows what he's talking about. Like, it's good to them to have their own space, like, to speak whenever they want, and educate people. Because for actual NBA fans, people know Patrick Beverley, like, incredible player. Like, you want that guy on your team all the time. But for the casual fan, they're like, this guy sucks. Like, they always show his low lights, missing threes. I mean, they do the same with Draymond all the time. But now they're like, no, this guy knows what he's talking about. Like, you want to listen into what this guy drops. He drops some gems all the time. So I think it's good to have, now that they have their own space to speak about this stuff. It's always good.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
have no idea Pat Bev had. I mean, you have an idea, but you really don't until you see a podcast and they let you into these.
Yeah.
What I like to call elite baller conversations. It's like, I mean, I had the same conversations when, let's say, I would have my squad. I used to play a lot in the California Asian American men's basketball amateur tournaments, but it'd be pretty serious. And we probably wouldn't go have dinner together after a loss. But if we won a tournament, sometimes we go have dinner, especially if it was an out-of-town tournament. And that's when these types of same conversations are happening, and you always want to be there because that's when you're just talking about stuff like, oh yeah, and this role player, that role player really stepped up for us today, and all these things that really just happen in the trenches. And I think that's a wonderful thing about basketball, that and these guys having their own podcasts, shedding light on, because like that's really the game of basketball.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, let's segue from there and tell us a little bit about, because last time you were on had some technical difficulties.
Go
through that whole experience again when you came to the United States and you got to experience Draymond in the flesh. Like it was, you were over at his place and stayed with them, went and saw a game. Let's give me the whole story, because that's awesome.
Well, the first time, I've been twice now, thankfully. Like, I'm so grateful to be twice. But the first time, it was such like on a limb. Like, I didn't have any I had one conversation with him. I might be in America in like October, but he's like, yeah, sure, I'll send you a message. I'm like, yeah, I didn't think too much of it. I think he's just saying that. So I get to America, like no plans, like at all. And like, I just went on a limb, like, I'm going for your word. Like, I'm going to come in October. He's like, yeah, sure. So I actually rocked up in October. He's like, yep, cool. And he just set everything up, like everything. He just sent all through like DMs, like, here's your tickets, emails coming through to get all your tickets. Oh, you want a hotel? Like, I got you. All that stuff. Like, obviously I flew out there like by myself, like paid for it and all that. But when I got there, like anything I needed, like he would just like hook me up. Like, he knows everyone, so like he's like the mayor of that town. So like, he's like, oh, you want this hotel? Yeah, here, this is the best hotel. I'm like, oh, what's the best place to eat? He's like, you should go to these places. Yeah, he like really set me up. So the second time I went, which was last year, last October, it was kind of like, I didn't feel so nervous this time because like, I mean, I've done it once. I've never been to America before that time. So it was all just foreign to me, like really new, like everything's just massive over there, like so different over here. And so the second time, he's like, yeah, no worries, come through again. So I came through. This one was way more like inclusive. So the first time I only met him once. That was after a game, and we only talked for like 5 minutes. Got like my like shoes signed, everything, and then that was it. Like that was all. I was only there for like 8 days, so that was all I got, which is fine. Like I was like, that's it. I won life. Like I met him. I can leave now. Like that's it. That's all I want. And then the second time, he's like, no, come back. Well, actually, I'm not telling the full truth. He wanted me to come for the parade in July, I think that was. He like shoot me like a DM at like, obviously like the time difference was really bad, so it was like 3 a.m. my time. He's like, hey, come to the parade in 2 days. So I was like, okay, I'll see if I can organize something. And I couldn't, because I didn't have like, obviously I was working and stuff. I couldn't get time off, which I mean it sucks, but that would have been so cool to go. But then in October that year, I went to like the opener and all those first games we had. That's when I got to meet like Travis Walton, Brownie Benz. I got to meet his mom, his auntie. Like, I got to meet like even Hazel, everyone. I got to see everyone. Which that's when I really got like taken in, sort of like they took good care of me all the time and always keeping in touch. And obviously, I met some other friends of his. Like, obviously, I met like Nick Matthews, which used to be his like media guy. I talk to him all the time. I talk to him like every day. But I met some incredible people that like relationships you just have for like life now. Like anytime I'm in America now, like from future, I can always message those guys, and they really took me in. It's really dope to see.
Is Nick still working for Dre, or
he's got his own media thing now? So he's got his own like brand he's working with, and he's left that, but he's still very close to him all the time. So I talk to him the most. Because he's sort of in the same space that I'm doing right now, so I always ask for advice and all that stuff. So
cool.
Yeah.
What is that space? Do you mind letting us know what you do?
It's just, well, at the moment, obviously, I'm just doing like most of this obviously you get paid from certain like brands and stuff, but like for the most part, it's just out of my free will, like just a hobby. Like I always just have spare time, and I'm always watching like videos, like old clips. So I always just like, it's always been fun to me to like mash them up and like make videos and, you know, highlights that, you know, everyone reposts the same highlights in this time of year. Like, you know, we've all seen like Kobe's 81 and like never forget when LeBron did this. Like we've all seen 100 times, but I know like some clips and some games that like people have never seen, like, or they've seen or they forget, like, cause it was ages ago. So I like to repost those back to the surface. Like people are like, wow, that really, like, I don't remember that. And like really rare clips and pretty like cool stuff too, like rare games that people seem to forget, and like stats. And I like to post stats for the videos, you know, context. But yeah, that's usually just I do for fun. Like, I enjoy doing it. So yeah.
How do you come up with those?
It's literally just from memory. Like literally, I'll be thinking, because on my YouTube, like I like all these videos from like years ago, like games, and sometimes I just scroll through all my live videos. I'm like, man, I haven't seen this game in ages, and I like put it back on, like highlights and all that, and then I'm like, man, I want to post this. Like people definitely haven't seen this, and then I like do my research, get my stats for the game, and like, you know, sometimes I like to add like my own context, like my own paragraphs to it, because sometimes you just got to add your own. But yeah, like I don't know, it's just fun for me. Like I obviously sometimes I don't have the time. Like some days I just go without posting, like maybe a week. But when I get time, I like to, like, you know, do that. It takes a couple of hours out of my day, so it's not too major.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Oh, congrats. I just, your content is always just, wow.
I try to do one a day. But it's hard sometimes.
That's tremendously consistent. I'm not able to do that. I'd love to do that, but I you know.
Yeah, it's tough.
Oh gosh. People don't realize. So I commend you on that. We're gonna bring Dean back in real quick, and he'll kind of co-host you for a while while I go do some
how's it going, Charlie?
tweets and
not too bad.
All right, go ahead, Dean. Take it away with Charlie.
Okay, that sounds good. I guess the first thing is, where can we find your stuff, Mister?
Instagram is my best. Like that's my main source. So Dpoymond on that. So DPOYMOND.
Yeah,
that's just it. Twitter is just Playoff Dray. Obviously I got suspended on that, so I don't spend too much time on that anymore. But I'm always there for a DM if you need it. But go follow the Instagram if you're interested in that stuff. I post like once a day, so I'm always on there, always posting stories, posting highlights or something. So try to stay consistent when I can.
Great. You said you're in Perth, right?
Yeah.
Western Australia.
Is
it on the Swan River? Is that right?
Yeah. You got it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask, man, being on practically the other side of the world, why did you pick Draymond? You know?
Well, it's funny. It wasn't from him. So in 2013, do you remember when Bogut got traded for Monte Ellis? In Australia, that was like the biggest trade ever.
Yeah,
like because that's our guy. Like Bogut, like he
went to the UVU, which is where I'm from too. So
right,
too.
Nice. So Bogut was our guy. Like he was like the best we ever had, and like this before Ben Simmons and all that. So we're like, this is our guy. So when he got traded to the Warriors, it was like the biggest trade ever. Like, man, he gets to play with all these like good players now. Yeah. And like, so his games are on TV all the time, like every weekend. It's all they used to show on the news, everything. Right. So I watched. So the first series I watched was Clippers vs Warriors 2014, round one. Mm-hmm. And that was
a tough one.
Yeah. I mean, that series though was insane. Like Game 7, like I remember just watching Draymond like go off. Like he had like 25, 7 and 7, like 4 blocks. Okay, yeah. I remember this to this day. Like that Game 7, I'm like, man, that guy's good.
He had what again?
25, 7 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, 4 blocks, and like a couple steals. He was crazy, and that was a series where he blocked Chris Paul like half court. Like I still remember that block. Like he swatted that, and I'm like, man, this guy's so good. And like his name wasn't even. That was when he like really emerged. Like that series, he really put his name on the map. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep an eye out. And then that 2015 season, like he took his game to a whole nother level. I'm like, all right, I'm a fan. Like I'm a proper fan. And I've just followed him since. Like, I wish I was around. Like, obviously, I'm pretty young still. I'm only 22, so I wasn't around. Obviously, when he's playing MSU ball, I was only like 11, 12, so I wasn't even watching that. And you can't really get college games over here, like Australia. We don't get those.
Really, not even on YouTube or something, huh?
Oh, not in 2011, 2012. You weren't getting those. Sure. But I think they're a bit better now. I think you get a couple more now. But yeah, so that was my first introduction to him, was that series. And I remember just like, this guy's got to start. Like, how's this guy not? Because at the time, David Lee was starting, but obviously he was injured. So I'm like, oh, thank God this guy's starting now. And then he just took off that 2015 season. And like, you know, should have won Defensive Player of the Year. Still down that hill. He was robbed. Absolute robbery. But yeah. And then we obviously won the chip that year. And I'm like, oh, I'm rolling with these guys all the time. So yeah, we kind of like in Australia, we kind of follow players. Obviously, like we don't have teams because we don't have a city sort of thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so that's what I was wondering. Sure.
It's so a lot of people over here you'll find now are Thunder fans because Josh Giddey and
of course, yeah.
So like you'll find like a lot of Thunder fans over here now because obviously Thunder are good, like they're getting good. We got Giddey now, and then we kind of follow players. We don't really follow like teams. I don't know. Obviously, people have teams, but it's usually from players, sort of thing. But
do Australians consider Kyrie one of their own? Or just born there?
It's weird. Like we still would take him in for like Olympics any day, but we know he's never going to play, so we can't just given up on it. We're like, whatever. Yeah.
Well, there's other stuff.
It used to be like that's all we used to have, but now we've got so many good players. Like, we're growing really good, like great NBA players. So,
the NBL seems to be improving every year.
It's gotten so big.
Yeah,
for especially like young players that want to make the NBA, like that's your third best option. If you don't want to go Euro League, come down to NBL and people just make a name for themselves. The league's amazing, like so good. It's been good for a couple of years now.
Right. And it's been around since the 80s or something.
Yeah. It's and they sell out. Every arena's packed, like because that's all we've got. We don't have NBA, so that's all we got. So if you want to watch basketball, you can them games, and that's where we go. Yeah.
It'd be cool if there was like a summer league or something for all the rookies out in Australia. Basketball is such a big sport.
Yeah, so they've started now in the preseason with a couple of NBL teams versus NBA teams.
Right, I remember that. There was Sydney teams or something.
Yeah, we beat the Suns. Like one of our NBL teams beat the Suns.
Right. You blew them out. You blew them out. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. I'm like that really helped us. I know it's preseason, but like to put like your name.
No, the NBA players didn't take you guys seriously, and they paid for it. Yeah, we're pros, man. Yeah,
and a couple, most of our teams like are full of like ex NBA players anyway, or like exactly. So like they just think like it's all Australians. Yeah.
That's great, man. Very cool.
It's dope as.
Yeah. But just going back to Bogut, I was listening to something, and they mentioned like you'll get how hard it was to score in that team when Bogut was healthy. Like, if you were a perimeter player, you had to go through Klay, then through Draymond, and then through Bogut at the rim. And man, I don't think people remember. A lot of younger Warriors fans, they don't remember how amazing Andrew Bogut was for that team.
And if you talk to like Dre about it, he says Bogut was #1 help. Like that's the reason I'm a defender I am today because of him. Like people don't understand like all of Dre's stuff he does is like all stuff taken from Bogut. Like even the passing, the screening, like that's all Bogut. Like he taught him everything. And like obviously he's never gonna get like his jersey retired or anything, but when you talk about like the dynasty, like he's up there with like, Sean Livingston and stuff because
definitely
he was like he was so crucial. He's like one of the best passing big men ever. And people don't
no, he was the perfect fit.
Yeah.
For the, I think they used to call those screens the dark side of the moon.
Yeah.
There was no light back there, man.
Yeah.
Which obviously, if you have Steph and Klay, you know, that's a vital skill set. And I think people also kind of never bring him up in 2016. You know?
No, when he got injured.
Yeah, well, it was a career-ending injury, basically.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
Swung the series.
Yeah, he never got back to that level of player, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It was what, right at the beginning of Game 5, like that.
Yeah.
That was crucial in the Warriors losing that one.
Yeah, I knew they were going to come back when that happened. Like, it was all adding up, like suspension, and then you get your center injured. Now you're playing guys like Azili that shouldn't be playing. Like, I loved Azili, but some minutes he shouldn't have been playing, but he had to because we don't know other bigs. So, yeah.
Barbosa too, probably.
Yeah.
That helped a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's in the past.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm glad that you brought Bogut up. He's very important to the Warriors.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, well, I got to tell you, like, one thing that I really started loving about Draymond is my dad's from L.A., and he got to watch a kind of forward-sized point guard type out of Michigan State, too.
Oh, yeah.
Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
And I just think Draymond's passing ability is so incredible, man. You know, obviously it's the defense and the leadership and everything. You know, that's what makes him who he is. But can you just expand on what you think about his passing ability and like setting guys up even without the ball?
I think it's probably, as a passer, I think he's easily maybe even top 10 ever. If you really break it down, like seeing plays ahead, like running an like all-time great offense, like he's running that, like every single play, he's got it. He's orchestrating everything. Not too many like passers can like run an offense like that, like the best offense ever. And people take it like for granted, like, oh, he's playing with the best shooters ever. Like, all you got to do is pass.
Sure.
Like, people don't understand. Like, he broke it down to me one time. He studies like shot pockets. Like he passes to a shot pocket every time. He's not just passing to someone. Like every player has a different shot pocket, and he's passing like.
And that's just to explain. That's where you catch the ball, where you're most comfortable to rise up and release it.
So every player pretty much has a dip. Like some lower than others, but he studies every single player on his team's shot pocket, make sure the seams are like perfect every time, every pass. Yeah. And like people just think it's just a pass, like anyone can throw that. But he's really like breaking it down to like every shot's gonna be perfect, like everything's gonna go in because of me, like my pass. And like he's really broken it down, and obviously like he's not gonna throw it behind the back from half court like Jokic or like no look. Yeah. So people just think like, oh, it's just so boring. But like you really break it down, like he's up there top 10 easily.
It's very fundamental. Yes.
As a 4'5" man at 6'6", like he's undersized, so he can't like obviously not seeing over everyone. Like when a double comes, like he's got to really like think. Like, he can't like throw it over anyone's head. Right. Like I've never seen like a small ball 5 do that ever. Like there's been a couple, but not passing like this. No way. No way.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, part of that too is, for instance, Jokic you mentioned, right? Great of a passer as he is, Draymond can really, really push the pace and still pass well off of a rebound, whereas Jokic is just a little bit slower. Yeah. So I always love that. Again, that like, you know, defense-oriented fast break. I mean, that's Showtime, right? So that goes back again to like Magic and all that. But Draymond is just, he might be the best in the league, or one of the best in the league for sure, at creating those fast break type plays off of rebounds,
for sure,
shots, even off of mid shots.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the only thing I get on. Like I message him all the time, like, and you got to rebound, because like when you rebound, it unlocks like everything. Like you can go, like he does these things. It really like it's the only thing that really annoys me, and it's so petty. But like he'll tap rebounds to like guards, so he won't grab it. He'll just tap it. Yeah. And I'm like, no, if you actually like grab that and then go, like it sets up so much. Like instead of tapping it to someone and just like jogging up, like. I know it's hard now at like his age, like the mileage on his body, like he can't like do it every game, but like someone like once or twice a quarter, you like grab that and just go, and like when he does that, like he does it in the playoffs a lot more. Like he knows when to do it.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm like, man, if she just like grabbed it and just went like a couple more times, like it would open so many more points up. Because when he's pushing the break and you got Klay and Steph on the wing, like and Wiggins cutting through, like it's impossible to guard. Like and no one
unguardable for sure.
Yeah. And sometimes he just goes himself. Like the paint opens up, he just zooms straight to the middle and just dunks it every time. But like, that's the only thing. Like I tell him all the time, like, hey, you should just grab these instead of like tapping it. Like he just does these tap rebounds where he taps to a guy, which is fine. Like we'll take the possession, but
it's an outlet pass. So
selfishly, I want him to grab it and just go. Like
for sure.
Obviously, I know like physically it can't happen every time because it's tasking. Yeah.
But it's awesome that he has that in his arsenal, I guess. Anytime.
Yeah.
What's up, Rich?
Yo.
I think you muted my man.
Yeah, I think he's.
Yeah, I was muted. Oops.
Yeah, there we go.
Charlie, I just wanted to thank you, man. It's just
that's so good.
Absolutely. Really appreciate
anytime.
The time out.
Yeah, that's so good.
We got to get you on one of these days, or one of these regular season nights.
Yeah, for sure.
And have you be the cover analyst.
Yeah. I'm here for it.
Because it's clear that, you watch the game closely, you analyze. I mean, you're talking about how you've noticed that Draymond taps the ball out on rebounds. Like, the average fan isn't noticing that type of stuff.
No.
I thought that was really cool. But also, I just really appreciate your time here. Didn't want to take up too much of your time.
That's all good.
Cool.
Anytime.
So,
thank you so much, man.
Appreciate it, fellas.
Thank you.
That's all good.
I had one actually. Last question was just for Warriors fans. When's the last time you talked to Dre, and what did you talk to him about?
We talk pretty like a lot of times we talk. It's just like just stuff like either I have a question or like it's just something that came up in the news. I just like, what do you think of this? And he just laughs usually. Like it's never too serious. Last time I talked to him was like start of this Monday, I think, Sunday, and we were talking about the USA versus Australia team. And he was trash talking my Australian boys. I wasn't having it. He was bashing our boys, and he's like, "Yeah, you guys are gonna win bronze. It's all good." I'm like, "No, we got the gold." I'm like, "Your team trash this year. We got
man. Tell him."
So we had a little back and forth about that. Like, so when Australia wins next month, I'm gonna let him know. Let him know.
Well, if Australia wins, we have to have you back on.
Yeah. Let's
I'm
have you on for that. I mean, we're gonna go live for assuming we can get the feed. Lester Quinones is playing for the Dominican Republic,
right? Yeah.
Next Wednesday, so we're gonna do that. So we're definitely there for Australia versus USA. Is that literally on the schedule?
I think it's
exhibition.
I think so.
All right.
Yeah.
Who is your starting five?
I think we got Giddey, Patty Mills, Ingles, Josh Green, Jock Landale, like solid.
Right.
But
wait. Who's the wing?
Ingles and Josh Green.
Josh Green
from Dallas.
Right. Yeah. Oh, man.
He's solid.
Australian. What? Okay.
And we got maybe Thibault. Like he could start, but he's off the bench, I think, because he can't. Thibault.
Oh, he's Thibault. Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
that's a good team, man. That's a good team.
I'm worried, honestly, because it's
the Boomers, right?
Yeah.
Boomers. Yeah.
Yes.
I think we finished third last year in the Olympics. So, yeah.
I thought in the Olympics you guys were playing so great, and then you just kind of had the one bad game.
Yeah, and we just the momentum it ruined us. Yeah, but this year we got Giddey now, so he hasn't played. He's going to be a game changer.
He's
I think.
a problem.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah.
It's 8.5 point guard. Yeah, international.
We have the best FIBA player of all time in Patty Mills. That guy turns to Steph Curry anytime he helps an Olympic court.
That's
So.
right, he does.
Yeah.
I am legitimately worried about this Australian team. I really am. And
we're sleepers, but we're gonna win this.
It's so hard to just cobble together a team. Is there anything special about the Australian team that might make it other than you can certainly say Giddey. That's no problem if the answer is that. But to just cobble a team together, because that's our like Achilles heel, is that they just don't know how to play with each other yet. It takes so long to gel, and our style of AAU basketball it's not conducive to that.
So everyone over here has played with each other for like 12 years. So like when Giddey was like 13, he's been playing with Patty Mills when he was like on the Spurs. Like
what?
We've been on the Boomers training camp. Like it's the same team every year. Like
Australia is very well known for keeping that same core together.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So once Bogut left, like we had a good replacement. Jock Landau like came straight in, like played the same role.
Yeah, there you go.
It was just like instant. Obviously, like Aaron Baines now can't play for health reasons, so we found like
those two.
So we just substituting like players that fit the same mold and that's been around the team like obviously longer. So yeah, these kids have been playing with each other since like 13. Like they've been practicing with each other for like years. So like when it comes to Olympic stuff, it's just like second nature. Like everyone knows what they're gonna do. Like everyone knows their role. We don't like jump a team together in a month and try to figure it out, like that sort of thing. Yeah,
like us. That's all we do. Yep.
Yeah, but you guys
go play now.
Best in the world. You guys got the best talent in the world. You can figure it out.
Hopefully now we got.
There's still something about a team, though, man.
Hopefully we got a system with Steve now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how Steve does with. Obviously, it's a very non-Warriors team, to put it lightly. Like so many ball-dominant players. Like it'd be interesting to see how he works with it.
Yeah.
So are you gonna bet Draymond? Because I think
I might have to.
Yeah.
I like my chances. I might have to. Man, he was talking so much trash. He was talking that ish about my players. I was like, no way. Like, we gave you guys a scare and we weren't even good, like, in the Olympics. Like, wait till you see us this year. Like, we're coming. We're coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, though.
That's the thing about Draymond is he's ride or die. He's ride or die.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people forget that, it's just a lot of people hate Draymond for the very reasons that makes him great.
Oh, yeah.
Believe me, I come from, basketball tournaments, amateur level and everything, but you need a guy like Draymond on your squad, even just inspirationally, to just like wake you up in the huddle, if anything. Yeah, that's at the floor, and he's so much more than that. And I think that gets lost in all of this. Yeah. Like his personality isn't really that embraced by a lot of people on social media. And that's too bad. I think it's their loss.
And it's just a shame because with this next generation, they've been taught that that's bad. Like, don't do that. So this next generation, they're not going to be anything like that. Like, this is the last mold of these type of players. Like, all you're going to get now is just like shot chuckers that like love to dribble. Like, you're not going to get like these players that are going to like yell at you anymore because their whole life they've been told, no, you don't do this, don't do this. Like,
here's the thing, though, Mr. Charlie. That's how you win, my man. So someone's going to figure out how to win, and they're going to start acting like that. So I think it might be a little rarer, but there'll be people who do it.
I think these kids don't even care about winning. I think they just want their stats. That's it. Like literally, if they get their 30, and that's it. Like, that's how this generation is going to grow up. Like I can see it now. These rookies coming in now, but they're like taking this all for granted, like this NBA stuff. Like, obviously, I don't want to talk about Ja Morant too much, but like, he took this all like he's taking this for granted. Like it's gonna be gone soon, and like you've got to really like lock in like about winning like now. Like why you got like a healthy body, but
right.
I just don't like where this is going. Like the sport's going, like how these players are going. So like I'm riding with it now because I know it's not gonna last forever. Like these players.
That is true.
Yeah.
I think it'll come back around. Just like short shorts came back.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So yeah, but
never went away in Utah, Rich.
Yeah,
it'll hit a point, and suddenly, that will become the thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to find, inspiration.
No, it's got to balance out at some point, right?
Yeah. But anyway, and also that I think that speaks a lot to all the international players. They come from a more humble background, I would say.
Yeah.
I think so too.
The Josh Giddeys, the Jonathan Kumingas, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We need more fiery types like Draymond, I feel, and that's one thing I've been looking at. Every time we have a draft, we're looking at this guy and that guy. That's like one thing I'm just like keeping my pulse on. Is there a fiery guy in college that can come?
But it has to be natural. Like if someone forces it, it's like, man, you fake. Like you can tell it straight away. Like he's trying to force to be like that guy. Like, it has to come like natural. Like I know a team wants you to be it, but if it's not you deep down, you'll get exposed. Like you ain't really like that. Like it's a fine line. Like you have to know like upbringing, like where they came from, and it's rare. But that's why those players are rare, and you gotta like love them while they're here because they ain't around forever.
No.
Yes, sir. All right, Charlie. We'll let you go now and get back to
appreciate it, fellas.
Your stuff in Western Australia. Appreciate you.
Yeah. It's only 10:30 in the morning here, so I've just started my day. So.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate it, fellas.
Take it easy, mate.
Appreciate you, man. Take care. Dpoymond. That's one of the
he's
best,
great, man.
One of the best handles on Instagram right there. Dpoymond.
Yeah.
What do you guys want?
That's true too.
Yeah, it is true. Like I'm glad he got that moniker. So I was searching him earlier, found out they suspended his account on Twitter. So, but then I was like, so
why? What did he do?
Dpoymond, and couldn't figure out who got Dpoymond. Yeah, I think that it was cancel culture. Hate to say it. I've been there, been down that road.
What?
When they don't like you for whatever reason, you disagree with their outrage or whatever, then they want to cancel you. Unfortunately, that's how things go. But that app is on the downward slide anyway. But it was cool talking to him. It's always cool to I love Australian accents, first of all. It's fun just talking to guys from another part of the world that speak the same language that you have, and yet it's different. It's a different culture. And oftentimes I've always thought about Draymond and all of that is really just cultural acceptance. Him too. I mean, he has to understand not everybody's from Saginaw, which of course he fully understands, but sometimes the most difficult conflicts that arise.
Yeah, he's doing fine in San Francisco, so I mean, I'm sure it's okay.
Sometimes it's just kind of that, there's when you're brought up from Saginaw, it's a different culture than you got brought up from Charlotte in a upper class family where the dad was an NBA player, and so making those things mesh is key. So I'm glad we have Draymond on the squad, and we're blessed to have a guy that has spent quality time with Draymond and his people.
Yeah, it sounds like Draymond just accepted him with open arms. It's just the kind of dude he is.
And Charlie has that too. He has that ride or die kind of mentality that you can feel on his social media accounts. And I think that's the main thing that really garners respect from Draymond is that. Anything else we should talk about? I mean, we looked at some earlier comments were I haven't gotten a chance to watch the WNBA, but I've heard some really good things about the Las Vegas Aces, for example.
They're the defending champs, I think.
The other day, they had a fast break where there were no dribbles, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah, of course it was. That's the best. It's the best type of
Steve
basketball.
Kerr probably was watching that highlight somewhere and going, you see.
Come on, guys. Look
Yeah.
at ah.
By the way, speaking of Steve Kerr, our buddy Coach Nick had Steve Kerr on Basketball Breakdown. You should check it out. It's pretty cool.
Sure.
Did you get a chance to watch that one? Exclusive Steve
No,
Kerr
I haven't.
interview.
But I'll definitely
it's
I'll add
pretty
it to my watch later right now. Okay.
The coolest thing out of that was he actually thinks Steph's adjustment from when he was a kid shooting from his waist wasn't all that dramatic to get to the forehead, because he still kind of goes from the chin
It
up.
pulls it like from the shoulder, kind of is where the release seems to start, is right here rather than up here. And I think that actually helps his long distance shooting.
Yeah,
because it's more of an elbow action rather than fully wrist.
Yeah. So, Coach Nick's interview with Steve Kerr, it was good to see Nick be able to get Steve.
Definitely.
He told me that he was just able to just hit him up because they talk to each other all the time. Steve has tremendous respect for Coach Nick's channel and all the breakdowns.
Wow, that's great, man.
So,
I didn't know that.
Didn't have to go through a bunch of red tape to get Steve. Which is
right, yeah.
I envy him.
NDAs and all that.
So,
oh, that's awesome. I'm going to listen to that as soon as we're off here, I think.
Yeah.
We got 24 people watching. How many likes do we have, though?
Oh, right.
I can guarantee you we'll add one more.
There we go.
33.
Yay. All right, so we've got next Wednesday, we're going to watch Lester Quinones. And if it seems to be more of an obscure feed, then I'll put the feed on Twitch. But I'm not here to just have my Twitch get shut down after your links, so we'll play it by ear.
Yeah, not trying to make it a sacrificial lamb there.
Yeah.
For the Democratic or the the Dominican Republic.
Let's see.
What
else?
I did want to ask you what your thoughts are on Jaylen Brown getting a $303.7 million 5-year contract.
So I love that you brought it up, because we talked about the trade scenario that you brought up that I was against, but the more time that passes, the more I respect how you brought it up. Jaylen Brown for Wiggins and Kuminga?
Yeah. As this contract doesn't kick in until 2025. Yeah.
So, first of all, the overriding thing of everything is that when you look again at the salary cap table, which we should have up here permanently, maybe I don't. I'll bring it up. Hoops Hype, salaries. I don't know why it's on the Lakers, but anyway, just change the team to Boston. It's like you have to do it. That's my sort of
you have to
disinterested party in terms of your salary cap table and the machinations of the collective bargaining agreement and all of this and all of that. You have to pay Jaylen Brown. You had to give him what now stands as the richest contract in the NBA. It won't be in a matter of time.
It's not going to be a long lasting.
You have to do this. You have to put him on the books. It's not like you can't trade this. You can always trade this for a bunch of assets coming in,
right?
Well, or so. So I'm not surprised at all that Jaylen Brown got a max deal. They're talking about how they should always show percentages of the cap when they show these.
Yeah. Keith Smith has mentioned that they're going to be adding that to everything that he's involved with at Spot Track.
So on Jaylen Brown,
so it's very
it's a freaking no-brainer to me. It's a no-brainer. It's transactional. You have to do this, A, to make him happy, and B, it's the thing that you do to set your salary cap table up for the future. You just you just do it.
The one thing though, Rich, is that, and I know I kind of bored people last time I brought this up, but again, after this season, if you're in the second apron, which this contract along with Tatum's probably puts you pretty close to that, if not well beyond it, you can't add together two contracts for one. So then you have to cut salary just to be able to get more players back for Brown if that contract's too large. I think that's where maybe I was wondering if Boston would have more hesitation. But I think in the end, you're right. You know, they'll just accept a cut, maybe useful role players to get under that apron, you know, rather than
I think the continuity of the squad and
they've been very successful. Yeah,
keeping him happy, override other stuff. But you know, I'm glad it's the Celtics having to deal with it for now than us. Like, we all have our own problems. So you look at our salary cap table, we've got to deal with our own issues. So they've got their issues, we've got ours, and I'm glad theirs are theirs and ours are ours.
I don't think we're doing too badly, really. I mean, Draymond's new contract's really going to be great.
Draymond, and Wiggins,
and Chris Paul. Next year, that $30,800,000 is not guaranteed whatsoever, which would create 20. If we do it before Klay signs his contract, it could create a $25 to $30 million salary slot open to a free agent, in which you could then just sign Klay afterwards. So that's not bad. Have a little bit of a shot in the free agency market.
Jasmine has a question here, which I just answered in the comments.
Before this season starts, I don't think so either. For Klay, Coach Kerr, you know, that's not really restricted to any sort of deadline other than when the contract ends. How's it going, Parth? So I think he's probably looking to see how the team responds, you know, to this new environment. We all think that with the increase in basketball IQ and experience, that would be more Steve Kerr's kind of team. So it's possible that Coach Kerr's could be done once he feels like the team is really headed in headed in the right direction. But I won't worry about it. You know, those guys have seen how the team's treated Steph and Draymond and obviously Klay before, and even Kevin Durant. You know, people forget, but the Warriors offered him the full max contract coming off a torn Achilles. Which keeps you out for how long? Generally, a torn Achilles,
11 months, I think.
11 months.
Maybe if it's 13, I forget.
Yeah, because Kobe tore his Achilles and was back late December the next season. Thought I was misremembering that, but yeah, he tore it in like March and was back playing in December for a few games until he hurt his knee, which is absolutely ridiculous that he came back in 6 months and he didn't even hurt it again. He hurt his shoulder or something, or his knee or something like that. But I was just looking at that. I want to make sure that was true. But you know, I think they've looked at the way the team is, you know, really shown loyalty to, again, Steph and Draymond. And I think, at this point, like, if those two are there, I'm sure Klay wants to stay. If it's Steph Klay and Draymond, like, unless Coach Kerr wants to retire, I think they'll all go to about 26, 27 for sure. It's a strong bet. Maybe not. It's not 100%, but I think whenever it's right, they'll figure that out. And for Klay, that's probably going the Draymond route, or maybe trying to get a contract extension. But
I could tell you that I don't know about Steve, but if I'm Klay, as a competitor, you always bet on yourself. And
yeah, you wait to show better. You wait to have better showings in the playoffs and stuff, and go off of a high.
Exactly. And Klay probably feels that last year could have been better for him, at least the way it ended.
Definitely.
And so you always want to, even though it kind of, it doesn't matter because we still got to try and target to be under the second apron, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, I'm a competitor, I want to really prove to myself. Steph Curry in Underrated sort of made that the mantra, prove to yourself rather than prove other people wrong. But there is definitely an element of proving all the naysayers wrong, and then come into next year with as much, position of power as you can, even if you were going to get the same type of salary anyways because of that second apron. It just, it's a lot better you doing Joe Lacob a favor than you getting paid what you're worth, which is going to be, around 25-ish million, I would assume, right? So there might be some talks that happen too. So I don't really know, but since we're all guessing here, that's what I would guess.
Well,
right?
also, again, if Klay waits to sign a contract for after this season, and the Warriors decide not to guarantee the rest of Chris Paul's contract, which is essentially make him a free agent, basically, because of the over 38 rule, he could open up a very sizable salary cap slot for the Warriors to go after somebody with, which I'm not sure would be. It'd still be fairly large if they don't wait and Klay signs it. But if he doesn't sign a contract until afterwards, again, because we have basically his rights, we can re-sign him whether we're over the cap or not. That might be something where if he takes the same, Parth mentioned $100 million over 3 years, but basically if he takes the same amount of money as Draymond or something similar to that, that would open up a lot of financial flexibility that the team, I'm sure, wouldn't use to save money. They would actually spend it to bring in some really interesting talent around that court. I'm sure that the Warriors would be a good free agent destination coming up. So I think that's important to think about as well.
And then for Steve, here's the thing with Steve. Is Larry Beal of 87, he was saying that Steve has some other interests out there that he can't talk about, that Larry couldn't reveal.
Some other interests outside of coaching or from other teams?
I would say outside of coaching, no.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So some other personal interests that
right.
Steve has that he couldn't divulge. So I think it's more that than anything else.
Yeah, like running for president.
I do think Joe Lacob, yeah, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised
Just kidding.
now that that's been introduced as a data point. I wouldn't be surprised if politics had something to do with it. I don't know, but
That'd be great. It'd be great. Popovich is his VP, man.
we don't know. But so I don't know. I'll just take it one day at a time. If Steve, every day passes and we got to the end of the year, end of the playoffs, hopefully end of the finals. Now that we're talking about
Hopefully end of the parade. Yeah.
Yeah. And if Steve still hadn't gotten an extension on that day, it's like, it's okay. Whatever happens, happens. And we'll figure it out as we go. So I don't know that.
Well, Steve runs for president. That's cool. We'll just have Draymond be the player coach. We'll be fine.
So we'll wait that one out. We'll wait for Steve, whatever he wants to do or whatever.
Yeah, it's all good. That's it, really, man. It's all good. Whatever happens is okay. Because it seems like these guys at least want to stay together, and if something draws them away from that, whether that's family, whether that's other important, interests that are much bigger than basketball or whatever, that's okay. The thing is that they love to play for the Warriors and to continue to play with each other. So as long as we have that for the time left that we get to watch them play, and it's not going to be forever, unfortunately. I wish it was. That they're going to be playing well and having a good time.
All right. Well, I'm glad to see that that whole Draymond, the fury over Draymond really lasted only a couple days last week. Then Steph.
Again, people didn't even listen to the whole interview, man.
Yeah.
Then
Steph had Underrated, or maybe this was more than a week ago. Yeah, and then Steph won the tournament. Then Underrated came out.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was. Yeah, maybe it was. Yeah, it was after Steph. I think the Pat Beverley pod was
I think it was tournament win, Pat Bev pod.
Yeah.
Underrated.
Yeah. So then Underrated came along and sort of helped die down the fury over Draymond.
I don't know if you guys know this, but he was also on a pod called Real Ones. Real Ones.
Doesn't that come out tomorrow morning?
No, I already listened to it. Yeah.
Maybe the video comes out tomorrow morning. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it could be the video on YouTube. Right. Yeah. Right.
Wait
that was a nice long one, and it has Raja Bell on there along with Logan Murdoch.
Oh no, that's the hot. Is that the Ringer? That's the Ringer.
That's
one.
Ringer. Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that one's out. I thought I forget the name of it, but he's coming out where you go and you I think you eat chili peppers or something and see how hot those are.
Hot ones?
Hot ones, yeah.
I didn't know that.
What was the name of the Ringer one?
Real Ones.
Okay, there's the confusion for me.
Right, yeah.
Hot Ones is coming out tomorrow morning. So
if you type in Steph Curry Raja Bell podcast, so I'm sure it'll come out.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I've got to take a restroom break real quick. So you can talk about whatever you want. I'll be right back.
Oh, Park's bringing up an interesting thing here. Second, trade CP3 around February this year. Trade or waive CP3 next year. Well, we were talking about that. There's a third option, though, Parth, is that they are very successful this year. Maybe even managed to get Mr. Paul that elusive title that he's been working so hard for, and they feel like that continues to be replicable, throughout throughout the next season too. But there's a lot of options open to Chris Paul, obviously for what he wants to do, and to the Warriors for things that would benefit, the team. I think what you said was number one is very unlikely. I don't think they're going to trade him. There would have to be something really, really upsetting to want to end that without even getting into the playoffs, because he is such a high IQ basketball player, and he definitely has to come off the bench, in my opinion. There's no reason to start him in the first place, in the regular season. You don't want to start Chris Paul and Steph Curry and have them play, 36 minutes together? Like, no, even Steph probably should have a little bit minute reduction because of Chris Paul, as should Draymond, because now that you have Chris Paul running your second unit with Klay and with JK and Moses and Saric, all those guys. You want to actually try and see if you can use that to bring down Steph's minute and Draymond's minutes too, as well as Klay's a little bit. So it's more going to be kind of waves of these veterans along with the younger players or the role players. And I still would love to see JTA. I think Montescano Anderson would be so good for this team, and he's available still. So I would love to see that. But I think they're going to keep going, with Chris Paul throughout the year. I think there's not a very high chance that they trade him, personally. I might be wrong, but I think they'll continue with him.
All right. Cory Joseph, by the way. Okay.
I'm going to take a rest break real quick too, Rich, if that's all right with you.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to end it pretty soon, but
okay.
When you come back.
No, that's okay. I can wait.
Oh,
I can
okay.
wait. If you're going to end it pretty soon, it's all good.
Yeah. I just want to show Cory Joseph right here. I tell you, man, this guy sounds like the type of guy you want as your third point guard.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's ready to.
I don't care about minutes. I just try and win every time I'm out there and get everybody else involved. And it's like, hey, you get it, man. You got another player who gets it. That's good for us.
Defense and tenacity is what it said.
Yep.
So he gets it. Here he is. Granted, he just got married, so congratulations.
Yes, sir. There you go.
On cloud 9. Yeah. And here he is. And then at the end of it, he's like, can't wait to see you all. Like, who says that?
Nobody can't wait to see journalists. Like, no offense.
I know. That was awesome.
That sounded genuine, too. Like, just.
Yeah. He is so
super
excited.
Professional. Super professional.
So excited to play with Steph and CP. So
I saw this from the Golden State Warriors official channel. It just, you have autoplay on your phone or whatever, and it just started playing it. I went, oh, okay, wish this was Rich's channel or whatever. And I was like, oh man, I remember when Rich went to every single press conference. There were a couple where you were there by yourself. As soon as I thought I heard you ask that question about Wiggins. And I left a comment like, Rich, he's asking a question about Wiggins in Canada, man.
I know.
And I was like, I miss Rich being at every one of these. And as soon as I thought that, I heard your voice, man. It was
awesome. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's a great. I should definitely let some of the Warriors PR people know about that. But no, I mean, it was good to. I also, so on the Zoom call, when there's 20 people on the Zoom call, I'm probably not going to be able to ask a question, even if I really wanted to ask a question. I mean, I could just butt in. That's what you do. as a reporter. Just think of the old.
That's literally the press. They're all pressing against each other. Yeah.
Scrum and and you just ask your question. But this one we only had like 6 or 7 people on,
right?
And so I was like, well, I got to do my duty. I got to step up and ask some questions. I should have asked more, actually. It's just that.
No, it was perfect.
It's been a while.
Perfect closing question. Yeah.
It's been a while. I also want to ask about but there's time, and Cory Joseph isn't going anywhere, and I got to see if I want to be on more of these Zooms or not, because it is kind of draining to try and prepare yourself and have a question ready and think of the next one if there's not enough people on the call and all those things that I stuck myself out on a limb for with Warriors PR. Some of the Warriors PR people don't understand that. But anyways, we'll see. But I'd love to see what he thinks about Steve Kerr in the context of Popovich and the Spurs and how that translates, that whole kind of ecosystem.
And, right.
Then I hear Steve Kerr on Coach Nick Basketball Breakdown, his interview, talking about how, all we used to do was run Spurs strong and weak. And then Coach Nick showed a video of Tony Parker coming around the screen of the big man and then Tim Duncan, and then getting the ball, and then Tim Duncan would set a screen again. And it's like, wow. So you kind of see all the synergy together, because Cory Joseph played with Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili 2014. He played with them. He's got a ring.
Right. Oh, yes. He's been.
Isn't that nuts? That's nuts. This guy. Yeah, I looked it up on BK Ref already. Confirmed.
No, I don't. I'm not.
Oh man.
He was also playing in the finals in 2013. Looks like too.
Yeah. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Cory Joseph, and we've got
a ton of champions and finalists on this team.
Yeah.
Like a ton. There's a lot of gold. A lot of gold on this team, man. It's always good. I think we still have the most rings of any team in the NBA.
You open up that box. That's Cory, tell us about Tim Duncan. And then Steve Kerr.
Coach Kerr won a title, 2 titles with as a player.
DP got it too. And Pods loves Ginobili. Like, you love to see a mentorship develop between Cory Joseph and Brandon Podziemski, because Brandon Podziemski loves Ginobili and Cory Joseph played with Ginobili.
Yes. Oh yeah. I mean, I love that Pods loves Ginobili. That's
absolutely.
Manu is one of the great kind of forgotten stars, I think, of recent memory too. Where like anytime anyone saw him play, you were like, "Oh my God, this guy's incredible!" And now these are they were talking about. But yeah, Ginobili was absolutely ridiculous. If Pods can be half of what Ginobili was, we're gonna win a title. Like, I mean, So,
anyway,
I'm very excited about this team, Rich. I really am.
Same here.
I think we're being a little bit. I think we're a little under the radar. I don't think we're being disrespected or anything, but like, hey, like, this team didn't have the splashiest moves, but like, we have a bunch of basketball players who like know what they're doing and have proven that they know what they're doing throughout their careers in the playoffs, and I'm really excited to see this team. And something Charlie mentioned about the guys not having that same winning mindset. I think that has a little bit to do with, why having 7 guys 25 and younger on the team last year didn't really work. I think if you want to have a good team, it's not so much rookies. It's more like how close would they be to their freshman year? And if it was their freshman year was 6 months ago, it's like, oh, okay. Or they've just come off their senior year, and they're about to get a huge amount of money. That type of stuff is something that really, it's really difficult, I'm sure, if you're Draymond Green or you're Steph Curry or Klay Thompson. You came out of nowhere and you really had to build this all up, all by yourself, basically. I mean, there was a lot of help around you, but there wasn't any guarantee that any of it would work. You come and see guys, even if it's not them, it's just how they grew up. It's what they've been taught. It's not even really their fault, right? But you're like, hey man, it's cool that you won a championship that we were the main players to win. Like, you can't just act like now, it's all about, I'm not saying anyone in particular did that really, it was just, there was some little elements of I should be starting, I should be playing more, I should be shooting more, scoring more, having the ball more, whatever, It's like, hey man, that's not how you win. It's how we get paid though. See, there's that clash of what the NBA values financially and what actually works in winning aren't always the same. And I think that was really difficult, and we really, really, really saw the front office address that in the offseason in a big way. Even Trace Jackson Davis, he's still probably played more NBA games than James Wiseman played college and NBA games combined. Or sorry, he played more college games than James Wiseman played college and NBA games combined together. So it's totally reshifting the focus with the new Dunleavy administration in power there, and I think that's really going to pay dividends this next season.
And we should move on from 2022-23 for sure, but also
please,
I think the blame I just want to remind people, the blame goes around equally. It really does. There's the young guys that didn't really understand the true sacrifices and things like that, and then there's the injuries. There's not having Wiggins for 2.5 months, and so on and so forth. But what gets lost out of there is the equal responsibility of, and I only say this because it's left out. So I'm not saying this carried more weight than all of the other reasons. It carries equal weight than all of the other reasons. It's just never talked about, is that we lost some of those games, and if the veterans were treating those games as playoff games, we might have won those games, like when we were 3-7 or when we were on the 0-5 road trip. But I get it, and I just think it's the process that you just go through, and you don't realize it until after it happened. And sure, now Steve Kerr has been quoted recently saying that he thought he failed. I don't think he failed. I'm going to disagree with you, Steve. You didn't fail. You just went through what everybody goes through in basketball. And it's weird for me to say that because he's supposed to have more experience than me. But I've been through a lot of losses in a lot of my years of coaching and stuff. And it's like, you can't really blame one thing over the other. It's all just a bunch of stuff. You're probably better off not dissecting it all. But one of those things was that we lost games that we should have won if there was more of an urgency at that time. But I get it. I can blame the vets at the same time that I can give them the excuse or the reason that, well, we just won a championship. It's just like, after you win a championship, you kind of have this invincible feeling like, oh yeah, we can just go to Charlotte, show up, sleepwalk through it, and win a game. I mean, the old teams used to do that. It's a new era. Teams are better, and so on and so forth. All of these things we've talked about during the season. We actually talked
nauseam.
about this as it was happening. We actually talked about all this.
Yeah.
But I just looking back, it's just never just one thing. It's a million things, and
this team still got a lot better by the time we got into the second round.
Yeah. Yep.
And the Lakers hadn't shot 80 more free throws than us over 6 games. Who knows where we'd be now? But it is what it is, and you adjust and move forward, right? And that's all you can do.
What you said, basically what you said. Super excited for the season.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's nothing. You don't need to worry about anything else. Right now, this is exciting, and this guy right here should add to your excitement. This guy, Cory Joseph. I mean, what? He's like the 12th, 13th, 14th player on the depth chart, right?
And he knows how hungry you really have to be great, They said he's bounced around the league as a journeyman for 13 years, 14 years, and only missed making a team once that whole time, And that's a level of real dedication that you have to have. That you can't work on it. You just have to love it, as if it's not even a job, And we've got a bunch of dudes like that on this team. What's the one guy who's a little bit on the more feisty young bull, trying to stamp his hooves at the old Bulls? It's just JK. Other than that, everybody else on the team is super mature. It seems like even Pods and Moses and TJD. And that's fine. You can handle a young guy like JK who's like, I'm not meant to be a role player. I'm meant to be a star. Okay, if you have one guy like that, it's not the same thing.
I don't know that he said that. I don't know that he actually.
Well, it's just that he's clearly meant not to just like his athleticism is so great that you have to figure out a way to utilize him, in a way that's not just like a role player. I think, I'm not saying he said that, but I do think that you have to see JK as someone who has real star potential, and you have to figure him out in a way that you don't have to figure out Moses Moody, right? You just plug in Moses Moody, and he does the right thing. And that's great. It's not saying anything against Moses, not saying he can't be a star, but it's just a little bit different in my perspective.
So wait a minute. We'll come back to JK in a minute, but Judith has comment there. I do hold Steve greatly responsible for the underdevelopment. Well, see, that's where again,
like who?
I wanted to introduce the fact that if we weren't so much under 500 for that amount of time, then Steve doesn't shorten the roster, because it worked. It worked at the end of 2021 and the end of 2022. 2022 resulting in a championship, by the way. So shortening that roster, and that forces guys to really find their roles and stuff. So I still go back to the vets. So, which domino fell first? We could go back and forth and dissect this to pieces, but it's not really worth dissecting it to pieces. When you say somebody's responsible for the underdevelopment of the youngsters, I say that the vets deserve as much blame as Steve Kerr does on that. Everybody shares equal blame. Everybody on the 2022-23 roster should share the equal blame of that.
Definitely. Yeah. And they know that too. They know that. The players know that.
And then now with the thing about Kuminga, I mean, I sat up here saying, we're on the brink of elimination. Maybe we should play Kuminga. Heck, maybe we should even start him. Who knows? He's a fence bender. He can change the Lakers' shoes.
I said that too.
I know, right? We both said that. And Steve didn't play him. We're sitting here going, oh, man. And then But the thing is we were up here going, I mean, maybe in the long run that is the right thing, and maybe
Sure.
maybe it actually does help us, despite the fact that we're about to lose in 6 games to the Lakers, and that's that.
Well, developmentally, you don't want to reward him for. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Rich.
No, go ahead.
You don't want to reward Kuminga for waiting out, not being able to quite match what Kerr was asking you to do, and get to play just because the team's desperate. Maybe it's better that, like, hey, you think you could have contributed? Well, we need you to do this and that. On the other hand, there's also like a bunch of other things that were happening that year where JK's position wasn't just about him, So I think Coach Kerr, mostly for the guys who seem to make it, has been a great development coach. It just, his approach. Well, it's like slow cooking some food for like 2 days versus microwaving something in 30 seconds. You'll be able to eat much quicker, and it will keep you alive. It'll be food and fuel for your body. The same, like, there's no difference. But one is going to be okay, and the other one's going to be incredible. And the other one just takes a lot longer to create, but it's much higher quality in the end. I think if you're Jonathan Kuminga, if you're able to do what Coach Kerr is asking of you, and you follow through, and you're very young, you have time, hopefully, to to be able to follow through with all that. I just think I just think if you're able to do that, like, you're going to be way better set up for your career when you have to be the man. When there isn't a Steph, there isn't a Klay, there isn't Draymond, there might not even be a Wiggins. You are the man. And this moment that sucks right now is going to, like, completely create that thing that you needed to be one of the hopefully all-star level players, if not even more than that, throughout his career,
And we've got to stay a little bit to hit the 2-hour mark. I'm sorry I wasn't able to give you.
I gotta go real quick, if that's okay. I'll be back soon though.
Yeah, we will hit the 2-hour mark no matter what. See you soon. The thing I wanted to say about JK, which we didn't talk about at all, my bad, is him having no relationship with Draymond. I gotta ask Charlie, but I can't believe I forgot. So what I think happened on that, and I'm going to stretch this out to hit the 2-hour mark to hopefully get Dean back in to say bye-bye. But, thanks, Amy. Thank you, Judith, first of all. Oh, man, that's pretty awesome. Awesome to see that. I got to screenshot that. And, yeah, I used to do that more. So what was I saying? Oh, Jonathan Kuminga. I forgot to ask Charlie about the whole no relationship with Draymond Green thing. So I think we got lost in translation there. I'm gonna talk to Monty Poole and see just what happened there. But I think what happened was Draymond was on the podcast with Paul George. It all started with Draymond on the Paul George podcast, and he was talking about Kuminga, and he goes something to the effect of, "I realized that I don't know JK." And then I think when 95.7 had Monty Pool on with Guru, I think what happened was, I think that Guru just had a brain fart there and said that, "Hey, Monty, tell us about this whole Draymond having no relationship with JK." It's like, no, wait. He said that he doesn't know him, like know him. He didn't say, "I have no relationship with them," right? So you're getting the no, KNOW, mixed up with the no, NO. And I think Guru mixed that up in his head and then was asking the question with the assumption that Draymond has no relationship with JK. So that just didn't make sense at all. Then somebody on Twitter supporting JK in that regard and Draymond showed a clip of Draymond hyping up JK on the bench, and that kind of ended that for that little spat. But I just think it was just a gigantic misunderstanding. Of course, 95.7 being the radio station, they are going to hype that little soundbite up big time. So now it's all suddenly the narrative gets twisted into Draymond has no NO relationship with JK rather than the KNOW relationship. So, right? Took out of context again. So I wanted to clear that up, and I forgot to ask Charlie about that. Maybe I'll hit him up on that. And I'll try and get Monty Pool on here, but I'm not here to, me and Monty are close, man. We were in the trenches together, going to, Warriors interviews every single day for like 10 years. He and me, we're the longest tenured daily reporters of the Warriors. If you consider my remote operating of which, whether it's through the channel that's behind me, the YouTube channel, just because I'm not there putting a microphone in front of somebody in the scrum doesn't mean I wasn't reporting on this team on a daily basis. I was. So, and I still am. So me and Monty, we go way back. So I'm not here to go, "Hey, Monty, what are you talking about? Draymond has no relationship with JK." I don't even think it's his fault. I just think that the conversation kind of took an unexpected turn where KNOW became NO, and it got confusing. And then Monty said what he said, and 95.7, social media manager had to clip that to make that show more clickable, and it all got out of hand. And suddenly Draymond has no relationship with JK, which can't be true. You can't play. You can't have a teammate, a guy be your teammate for 2 years and have no relationship with them. That's impossible. At some point, as you heard from Charlie, at some point, Draymond is going to say that the team that you're rooting for is trash, right? But it's out of brotherly love, right? You get what I mean on that? So I think we all get that. And that's what I kind of want to close on as we approach the 2-hour mark. So just like Charlie said, if you've been in the same room as Draymond. Oh, by the way, I did ask someone in Jonathan Kuminga's camp, and they basically said, social media. That's what they said. They couldn't really say much else, but that's it. They don't have a relationship off the court. Neither does Steph and JK. Oh my gosh! Please don't drink Twitter's Kool-Aid, please. Neither does Steph and any young guy. So that should blow your theory to smithereens. I mean, you've been in the same room as Draymond for 2 years. Eventually, he's going to rag on you in a brotherly love way. And don't you tell me that him and JP didn't get along. They got along, but the punch happened. So, there's plenty of instances.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, I mean, outrage sells, apparently. So, of course, people
We
jump
won
on
a championship.
Yeah.
With the same relationship, though.
Yeah.
All right, so if that doesn't nuke that theory, then I don't know what does. But, glad you're back so that we can say goodbye, because sometimes we could just keep going on and on about this, and it takes away from the excitement of the unknown.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Now back to the thesis of being excited about this season.
Very excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd just be a fun team to watch, I'm sad that JP and Rollins and Baldwin and some of the other guys had to go. But Jordan Poole, man, he's gonna be free to be whatever player he wants to be in Washington. Be the main guy, along with some other good young players out there. So,
yep, I think we can be rooting for them at the same time that we're rooting for us, except for 2 games a year, where obviously we're going to root for us to beat the Wizards. But other than that, we can root for JP still. Doesn't mean we have to sever that relationship.
No, definitely not. They're forever, Jordan Poole's forever a champion. I mean, we just wouldn't have won that title in 2022 without him. We just wouldn't have, So I'll never forget that, and I hope we get to see a couple more with these dubs,
Yeah. So looking ahead, thankfully, we've got this FIBA World Cup coming up. Cory Joseph is playing for Team Canada, so there's that.
Team Canada should be pretty good too.
Plenty of opportunities to watch some Warriors because Guy Santos will play for Brazil.
Right.
So
JK probably with DRC.
See, I don't know if DRC is involved just because qualification-wise, they probably didn't qualify.
Oh, I see.
I haven't heard anything on JK's and DRC, Team DRC. Haven't heard anything.
I see. Okay.
But anyway, we do have some time for FIBA, so that's going to be great. I mean, our coach is coaching that team, so it'd just be great to see him on the sideline. It'd be cool to kind of go, oh, there's a play that the Warriors kind of run or whatever. We'll see how that goes. And then training camp at the end of September. So there's some time between now and then. There's 2 months. But at least there's FIBA World Cup.
Yeah, I'll be all right. You guys can come on here and listen to me and Rich and whatever great guests Rich has lined up. Any podcasts.
Never know.
We'll just have some fun,
Try and get Monty Poole for the next one.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Pull out the big guns.
You can talk about that whole thing I just theorized on. But, so yeah, that's
right.
it.
Absolutely.
It's time for me to go get some dinner. 8:23
Yeah.
p.m. You doing good, Dean? Yeah, new apartment, just like me. So,
Got a brand new kitten, and she's the best.
oh, that's the best.
I'm over the moon. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm doing well, man.
So we'll see everybody.
Miss being on here.
What's that?
I miss being on here.
Yeah, I know. So
Great.
next Wednesday, August 2nd, time to be determined. Lester Quinones.
Yeah.
Man, he
Vamos.
played so well. He played so well in summer league. So it's going to be great to see him go up against his old team, which is the Memphis Wildcats, I think. Penny Hardaway's team.
Tigers. Yeah.
Memphis Tigers, my bad.
Yep.
And they're playing in the Dominican Republic. Wow, what a I mean, thank you, Penny, for agreeing to do that. I mean, he has to agree
It's awesome.
to fly his team to the Dominican Republic to play his former point guard's national team. That's exciting. That's just like that's so special.
Yeah, absolutely. Is Chris Duarte on that team? You know?
Ooh.
Because I know he's Dominican. I'm not sure he's playing for the team, but
We'll know by then.
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I
I like him.
but-
He's a cool player.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up. So we'll see you guys on the next live, which is right there. And Aloha on Twitch. Hit me up. He had a question. You can always email me, rich@letsgowarriors.com. But I can hook you up with that merch if you want from the Underrated documentary. I wish I got a cut of that. I don't, but it'd be, the guys that made some of the merch. His brother played in my basketball league back in the day. So
Wow. You got connections to everybody, Rich.
little connections, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We shall see you next Wednesday. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
See you then. Bye-bye.
Just us.
Just us 1, 2, 3. Yeah, almost forgot.